I long for ecstasy.
J'aspire à l'extase.
I long for passion.
J'aspire à la passion.
I long for the power to influence others.
J'aspire au pouvoir d'influencer les autres.
Clout,
Clout,
the new fragrance from late-stage capitalism.
le nouveau parfum du capitalisme avancé.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Khadija, nieces, nephews, nibblings, aunties, uncles, pibblings. Y'all know what to do, but if you're new, feel free to take a look around, suss out the vibe. The increase in production value means that we're going to be doing yet another deep dive into a topic of my choosing. And today, that topic is clout. We're gonna get into the origins of the concept, the slang term, its evolution through popular culture, cause you know we have to. Then we're gonna examine the allure of all this influence and the potential pitfalls. So, as always, let's pay some bills, make sure this fantastic crew is taken care of, everyone except Travis, because we are still beefing. And let's give a shout out to our sponsor. Thank you to Helix for sponsoring today's video. Y'all, this sensual, seductive, ultra comfy Midnight Luxe King is from the one and only Helix. The folks making premium mattress and bedding, all about your personal comfort. And yes, it's personalized because Helix actually gets that folks are different and like different sleeping situations. So you can actually take their online quiz, let them know what kind of a sleeper you are, and get matched with the best mattress for you. So I actually lied last time. I said that I was a side sleeper, but I have been on my stomach like a starfish laid out because this mattress is so comfortable. Oh. As I mentioned before, after I took the sleep quiz, I got matched with the Midnight Luxe, and honestly, we've been happier than ever, haven't we, girl? Yes, we have. My favorite part about Helix is that they actually deliver the mattress right to your door for free. It just comes rolled up in a box and it's super easy to set up yourself. It is a bit of a workout, but Dennis and I figured it out. We did fine. That means you can too. Helix also offers a 100-night sleep trial, so you get a few months to make sure that you actually like the mattress. And if you're like, no, take it away, it's too comfortable, I don't deserve nice things, they'll just pick it up and give you a full refund. Lastly, Helix mattresses have a 10-year warranty and they offer financing options because sometimes you honestly just don't have it all. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking for a new bed and you want to check out Helix, click the link in my description or go to helix.com/Khadija to get $200 off your mattress plus 2 free pillows. Thank you to Helix for sponsoring today's video and for donating another mattress to West Street Recovery. So West Street Recovery is a grassroots organization helping communities rebuild and connect to the resources that they need after climate disasters. So the link to that organization will be in the description if some of y'all want to check them out, if you want to donate. But yeah, thanks to Helix, and let's get back into it.
Thanks, Helix!
So what the heck is this clout currency everyone's trying to get access to? Well, there are a couple of definitions from Urban Dictionary to Merriam-Webster, but the common thread is that clout is about influence, having the kind of influence and therefore power to influence and/or get attention from others. Weirdly enough, clout started in Chicago, not like the thing, the term. According to the Encyclopedia of Chicago, in the mid-20th century, Chicago writers coined the term clout in reference to political power and influence. Apparently, this usage was most likely taken from a baseball expression.
He's stepping up to the plate to pitch and is doing what pitchers do, and the other guy just hit it out of the... What a clown!
Clearly, I know nothing about baseball, but that was essentially the phrase. A powerful hit was known as a clout. Let's try some less sporty expressions, shall we?
Nah, I don't need a building permit. I got a clout in City Hall.
Lady, just tell your kid not to spit on the floor during the trial and he'll get probation. I talked to my clout and he talked to the judge.
Ever since my clout died, they've been making me work full 8 hours. I've never worked an 8-hour week before. By the 1970s, the phrase, "who's your clout?" began to pop up with regard to interrogating one's ability to, quote, reach and persuade those in power. The use of the word clout soon spread outside of Chicago, at least when it came to terms used in political context. Antonia pointed out that it's unclear when the word clout went from political terminology to Cardi B and Offset letting all the children know. They do anything for clout. Do anything for clout. They do anything for clout. Do anything for clout. It just goes on and on like that for a while. Either way, the addition of the word clout to rap brought the term to larger audience and subsequently widened its definition to identify anyone with a sphere of influence and therefore power, not just politicians. Google Trends even showed that the word's usage began rising in popularity around August of 2017, and it looks like it's here to stay until we create another word fitting for the day's definition of influence and power. Because as we know, language changes and evolves over time. Before clout, there was influence. And before influence, I don't know, this isn't a linguistics channel. But what I'm trying to say is that as long as people have existed and interacted with each other, clout has been a thing because the power to influence others, well, is a hell of a drug. So y'all remember that montage scene in Hercules when Herc got all the sodas and the Air Jordans and shit? Am I aging myself? Anyways, it turns out Disney wasn't completely full of nonsense because it's rumored that ancient Roman gladiators seem to have been the original influencers, aka the original clout holders. Popular and skilled gladiators were celebrities and even sex symbols of sorts, even endorsing products that would turn out to sell well. So even the ancient Romans knew how powerful clout could be. This concept of using someone's clout to sell products and/or services is now known as influencer marketing. But back then, I don't know what the term would be. Either way, clout truly sells. Take the UK, for example. Any product with the Queen's crest located on it is recognized as the monarch's literal stamp of approval of said product. Apparently, and Antonia said this, she lives in London, so I'm gonna trust her on it. Apparently the seal, aptly named the Royal Warrant, means said stamped product is used in the royal household. You may not have their money, power, or privilege, but you can at least use the same mustard as them. Now, we don't just use celebrities to sell us products and services. We sometimes use fictional characters and even dead people. Think about Santa Claus or Mickey Mouse, Marilyn Monroe. I've been harping on clout as a way to sell products and services, but the power and allure of clout knows no bounds. Some people will chase influence whenever and wherever it's available. We've been doing it since the Immaculate Concept. With her yes, Mary became the most influential woman in history. Without social networks, she became the first influencer, the influencer of God. Hashtag Panama 2019, Pope Francis Twitter account, June 26, 2019.
Hi, my name's Khadija. I'm 26 and I'm a model living in LA. I do not like trouble. Okay, I don't know where this rumor started. Now, can I say that trouble doesn't like me? I don't know. I don't really know. What is my type? I really like super tall guys. Like, oh my God, lanky looking basketball players. The scrawnier, the better. I don't know what it is. I'm salivating. Like, I want to feel like I have to climb you to kiss you. You know what I'm saying? I am super excited to spend the summer around a bunch of sexy single guys. Because listen, mama is trying to get her meat, okay? It's been several business minutes. And if I make friends, that's cool too, I guess. I hope y'all know what this is. This is my official audition tape for Too Hot to Handle Season 3. Just kidding. But for real, when Too Hot to Handle first came out, I had no interest in watching it and still haven't seen Season 1 at time of filming this. But Season 2, baby, I devoured that show. Naturally, once it was finished, I found most of the hotties on Instagram, gave them a little follow, and watched their numbers, follower counts, grow into the millions. Now sure, a lot of these people had pretty sizable audiences before. I think that's a prerequisite to even get on these shows, but the buzz from the show definitely boosted all of the contestants' popularity. And where there's popularity, or should I say mostly positive popularity, there's clout. Or at least the potential for it, if you know what you're doing. I think shows like Too Hot to Handle and Love Island are perfect examples, not only of the reality TV to influencer pipeline that a few YouTubers have talked about already, but I would argue they're perfect examples of how our perceptions tend to favor certain aesthetics and the power of illusion, therefore feeding into how certain types of people maintain their access to clout, while others don't stand a chance. I'll talk about power of illusion later. If we're being honest, many factors contribute to your ability to win friends and influence people. But two factors that help a great deal are access to wealth and proximity to the dominant group's standard of beauty. With shows like Too Hot to Handle and Love Island, a lot of contestants look similar. Similar body types, similar phenotypes, and I know people don't love calling slender features Eurocentric because those features aren't exclusive to Europeans. I know. The contestants might be a few different shades, but they mostly have similar traits, especially with their bodies, because the ideal is that audiences want to see a bunch of conventionally attractive people work out 6 times a day in the hopes that some of their sweat will erode through that sexual tension. I got lost in the metaphor. I'm back. Okay. Because producers know this is what audiences want to see, it provides opportunities for contestants to test out their influencer abilities even while filming the show. Broe Deschanel has a really great video on Love Island, and in it she talks about how often contestants on Love Island get brand deals once they know they're gonna be on the show. So when they're on it, they can promote it and be a basic walking advertisement for certain companies. Like it or not, influencers have a lot of clout, and that's why the two words can't seem to quit each other. And because of things like the halo effect, we equate attractive person with good person. And if person equals good, product/service they're selling equals good. Advertisers know this. Large internet platforms know this. And deep down, the rest of us know it too. The irony. After my ass had the nerve to have this video sponsored. Go to the next scene. Hi. Are you tired of being ignored? Hi, can I get a green tea? And can I actually add just...
Sorry. I would like a chai latte. A small chai latte is great. Thank you so much.
I'm so tired of being ignored. Tired of being looked over.
You got this, babe.
I don't know if I can try to
Keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
You got this. Oh my god.
Push.
Oh my god, we're
You're
having a
almost there.
baby. We're having a
You're almost
baby.
there. You're almost there.
Oh my god. A baby.
I'm so tired of being looked over. Tired of feeling like you have no control over the constant screams permeating every corner of your psyche? Yes, I am. Well, have I got the deal for you. No tricks, no fine print, and no hidden fees. Heck, there are no fees at all. All you have to do is sign a piece of paper. Thank you. Wait a minute. What's the catch? No catch. You sign this paper and participate in a quick little blood oath and we're done. You'll spend the rest of your life never wanting for access or power again. Really? Then, when you die, your soul will belong to Satan for all of eternity.
All of eternity? But what if I want to earn my way into heaven, like Kirsten Bell in The Good Place?
Girl. You right. Where do I sign? So, if you're ready to take back your life, have power beyond your wildest dreams, and be able to finally caption photos on Instagram with the phrase, "Don't be bitter, be better," dial 1-800-FAUST-E&CO. That's 1-800-328-783-26326 to set up an appointment. Thank you to Fausti & Co. for giving me the clout I needed to get ahead in life. I'm hotter, I'm richer, And the isolation and social pressure to continuously succeed and outdo myself while still maintaining a moral compass is only but a minor side effect. Dial 1-800-FAUST-E&CO. That's 1-800-328-783-26326 to set up an appointment. Kris Jenner works hard, but we work harder. Okay. I'm gonna take this out because I don't think y'all will be able to understand me if I keep talking with this. Anyway, now, I want to make one thing clear. The word clout and those associated with having it are not inherently bad. You can have clout and attempt to do good with it. You can have clout and, I don't know, use it to contribute to society. Clout is not bad, but being a clout chaser might be. As the word clout began to make itself more comfortable in the homes of our collective consciousness, so too did the term clout chaser. One Urban Dictionary definition, apparently quoting Snoop Dogg, states that a clout chaser is, quote, a person who strategically associates themselves with the success of a popular person or a currently contemporary trend to gain fame and attention. This personality disorder is often resembled as riding the wave without concern for damage or integrity. Oof, lacking integrity. Now, put a pin in that personality disorder part because we'll talk more about that in a bit. But we've all seen that person or perhaps have known that person, the one that never has anything new or interesting to contribute but is kept around to suck booty.
The things you say are hilarious and poignant.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have an amazing skill at telling people what they need to hear.
I'm sorry, did I ask you to pull down my panties and blow a compliment up my butt?
The one that cares more about the aesthetics of it all than the actual substance of a thing. The one who wants access to as much influence and power as possible, but doesn't quite have the stuff or luck to access it. The one that has tried and failed in vain over and over again to get others' attention. So they do the only thing that's left besides giving up, riding someone else's coattails to the top and on and on. Like I said, we've all seen this movie before because since the dawn of time, people have had clout, so it's only fitting that we've always had clout chasers. But why is chasing clout so bad? Shouldn't we all want to have or get a chance to have some sort of power and influence? And sure, but some people are willing to take it too far just to get a taste of the rewards and privileges having a bit of clout has to offer. Heck, organizations can be clout chasers too. Think about something like Scientology, how the church uses the appeal of its celebrity ambassador to convert more people. You saw this with Madonna and Kabbalah in the early 2000s. It's not a new story. Clout chasing can also pop up in things like activism, with stuff like virtue signaling and online slacktivism, because it's trendy in certain circles to maintain progressive politics, aka human decency. Lots of folks use political events and tragedies as ways to gain social clout, a sort of social justice clout chasing. And some people just use whatever they think is cool and in to also get clout, even trying on other people's ethnicities and races. Fine pair of examples would be things like blackfishing, or racial ambiguity fishing. That's a cute little trend where racialized white folks try to look like they're biracial because being light-skinned and being a baddie is kind of in right now. That's oversimplifying it, but white technically isn't popular. I don't know how else to say that, but y'all know what I mean. As a result, those who want to gain social currency by appearing marginalized chase clout in the form of blackfishing or Asian fishing. In Canada, it looks something like being called a pretendian, aka a large number of people are now identifying as Métis on census records. It all has to make you wonder, what on earth is up with people that they would go to such extreme lengths for external power and validation? And that's where we come back to the personality disorder. To my knowledge, no one has claimed clout chasing to be a real personality disorder, because it isn't. There is, however, something called histrionic personality disorder. It's classified under cluster B personality disorders at the Mayo Clinic if you want to look it up more, but it can be characterized by a few things, like constantly seeking attention, excessively emotional, dramatic, or sexually provocative to gain attention, speaking dramatically with strong opinions, but few this sounds like hysteria. What's going on here? Mayo Clinic? What? Never mind. Either way, if you're thinking clout is about having attention or wanting attention, then sure. A slang term for HPD could possibly be clout chasing. I would warn against that though, as conflating clout chasing with HPD waters that disorder down and seems like an easy way to avoid addressing mental health concerns. Plus, that's how we end up with words like gaslighting being used ad nauseum and sometimes unnecessarily. Anywho, clout isn't just about attention. It's about what you do with that attention, how you wield your sphere of influence, and at the end of the day, how long people give a damn. Because it takes two to tango. People have to be willing to believe in the illusion of clout, the illusion of power that some wield over their lives in order for those some people to have that influence over them. In order for a concept, a nebulous but precise word to come alive, to not only taste in your mouth, pound in your chest, there has to be a belief in it. To get more specific, there needs to be a conditioning of that belief. One might call it an indoctrination. It has to be told and sold to us so many times that we eventually stop needing to be told to buy into it. It's part of our very belief systems. That's how deep this power of illusion is.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Marilyn Monroe is one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. From paintings to stickers to mugs to t-shirts to bags and even bed sheets. If Monroe's face is on something, someone out there is gonna buy it, even though she's been dead for almost 60 years. Now, methinks part of that has to do with the conspiracy surrounding her death, but the other, more obvious part has to do with Marilyn's physique. She was a blonde bombshell with curves, yes, but she wasn't this plus-size diva everyone makes her out to be. Chances are she was most likely between a present-day size 4 and 6, but either way, Monroe's image is the thing that turned her into a cultural fixture, and that image is what still sells merchandise today. Funny thing is, though, Monroe knew this dumb blonde bombshell was all an act. An illusion, one might say, to the point where it has been said that she'd talk in third person about Marilyn as if she wasn't a part of her, but a character she wore, seemingly to help her wield her influence and protect the real her, Norma Jean. But the thing I'm finding out about public image is that you only really have but so much control over how the public sees you. Once they're introduced to you a certain way, it's very difficult to show them something different. Norma had created the illusion of Marilyn, this beautiful, naive, smoldering blonde with a hot bod and the power to use that allure over every and very powerful men, even one famous president. Allegedly. Part of the reason she was able to gain and wield this power, the power of the image of Monroe, not the person, at least at the beginning of her career, was because, well, she was beautiful. And this isn't pretty privilege strikes again. This is the cold, hard fact that the halo effect is real, and we are all subject to its whims, especially when it comes to choosing who has influence over such whims. Typically, those people tend to be wealthy and/or hot. If you're hot and don't have wealth, you're more likely to find yourself in proximity to wealth. And if you know what you're doing, it's only a matter of time before you acquire that too. If you're wealthy but not hot, you can get by or buy your way in. And if you're hot and wealthy, congratulations, what does it feel like to be Satan's favorite? But for real, if we think about those that have the most clout in society, from celebrities to influencers to politicians and beyond, those people typically have access to one or both of these things: beauty and/or money. One could argue that fame could also be a prerequisite, but I think in most cases you have to have the beauty and/or wealth to even have access to the fame. I've always had a hard time talking about beauty and the power it brings, because even though beauty is in the eye of the beholder, there are certain standards that can't go ignored, and it's difficult, or it is a difficult thing, in my opinion, to pin down. But that's because it's a very abstract thing. People turned it into an object, a thing, a commodity. We treat beauty as a property, but how can something so abstract be possessed? I don't know how philosophical I'm about to get, but let's try this out, so just bear with me. If we know things like the halo effect exists, and we can assume that the most folks that have clout are wealthy and/or beautiful, then it's fair to conclude that a lot of us take pleasure in a thing because we think it's beautiful and therefore worthy of being pleasurable, not because it's pleasurable and could therefore be beautiful. Mr. Big Daddy philosopher Immanuel Kant believed that for us humans, beauty leads. It provides pleasure/substance, not the other way around. Because of this illusion of beauty, making a thing pleasurable, it therefore makes sense that the illusion of power that beautiful thing has over us is just as potent. I feel like I need to communicate that more clearly, because girl, what? Okay. There's no such thing, as a property of beauty, since the concept is so abstract. It's not a physical thing. There's no objective thing, technically, that makes something beautiful. As a result, it's an illusion. It only exists in the way that it exists because we believe it does. Do you see where I'm going? Y'all see where Kant was going? Philosophers, please, put your opinions down in the comments below. So then, the illusion of power is what follows the illusion of beauty. These things/people, I'm included in that, shouldn't have as much power over us as they do. But because so many of us believe in this illusion of power and are often led into it through this illusion of beauty, by the way, I'm treating illusion like the word construct, but by being told and sold certain specific and deliberate aesthetics, that increases their demand, increases their value, increases their clout. One of the access points to that clout is beauty, or at least the illusion of beauty as object thing, not abstract concept. I know. I hear it, okay? I also want to add that, like many of these constructs or illusions, just because they're not real doesn't mean they don't have real life consequences in the form of power structures that are tightly gate-kept to uphold their standing in society. Remember, race isn't real, but racism is. Either way, the more we buy into these illusions, the longer we buy into them, the stronger they become. It's like these illusions and constructs harden over all of us the longer we maintain them, to the point where we believe there's nothing we can do about it because this is the way it's always been. I find myself struggling with this all the time, but power to the people isn't just a protest cry. It's an ideal too, and illusion, one might say, but one that considers community over individuals. One that's just as worthy of believing in as any. Yes, the world is dreary and hard, and it feels like people aren't doing their part, but you don't have to be people. You don't have to save the entire world. Clout is an illusion with real life consequences, but it can also contain real life rewards, as it's not the concept that's worrisome, but what one does with it. We all have a bit of clout these days, particularly those of us with constant access to the internet. We all have the potential to use our spheres of influence however we choose. We all have the power to wield this illusion in our favor, and hopefully for good. And for those of us that can't, those trying their best to simply survive, the rest of us have to believe, then put in the practice a little extra. Okay, so this is getting a little bit cheesy, but this spotlight is very warm, and I'm starting to get a little hot, and this is the last shot of the day, so let's just get into the final thoughts and wrap all of this up.
We're here. We made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point, this I know is my favorite video I've ever done, not just because of the increase in production value, but I just think from start to finish, like concept to realization, production, and all of it to now y'all watching it. It's been the most fun I've had getting to, like, I don't know, talk about something and try to unpack something and still not fully understand it, but feel like I understand it better. I don't know. You know, I just like thinking and talking and stuff. Scorpio moon. Anyway, please let me know what y'all think. Like I said, I want to do these types of videos once a month or once every couple months, just depending on budget and all of that. But let me know what y'all think. Let me know if it is something you've been thinking about as well, or if it's like, I don't know, something you never considered and now you're like, damn, I can't unsee it, you know? Thank you to everyone behind the scenes that helped out to make this happen. It was so fun being on set, filming. We're still in the midst of it. I'm high. Damn. Yeah, it's okay. You can laugh. As always, be sure to feed your pet, water your pet, and remember that you can always change your mind because you can. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Enjoy the bloopers. Okay, just make sure I don't flash you. You're good?
We'll patch it in VFX.
Not in effects, y'all. Titties aren't out, right?
No, you're good.
All right.
Oh, wait. Well, we have to play 80s.
Okay.
We have to play last.
I know. I'm like, did I write this? Damn.
You clout.
Just like
It's just a hand. Yeah.
thirsty for perfume.
How does it start? Oh, I thought it was once bitten. Oh. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
Oh. We should do a. It has to be the worst handshake ever.
There's literally nothing, yo. Isn't that weird?
We'll cut that out of there. We'll delete the whole take for Travis.
Travis, you better not think about putting that anywhere else on here. Revenge porn is illegal.
Cloud itch. There's always one line. There's always one. Can you just...
I was gonna call Travis the N-word, but I feel like mixed company is probably not good.
Your audience is mixed company.
That's what I'm saying.
Travis gonna be like, you made me watch this whole thing.
Hi, Travis. He enjoys watching the bloopers.
There's like fur on.
Okay, is anybody gonna make the sound?
Like how long?
Your video will be taken off.
Man, you're so polite. Oh, your member is out.
The secret is out there.
I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. The cowabunga did save me. I don't know why I'm like
I don't know. Thomas. Wow, this mattress is really great stuff. Like, this is
wow.
so-
Made it to the end. If you didn't, fuck, I'm kidding.
It wouldn't hear it.
That's why I can say fuck you and they won't hear me. Fuck you. Fuck your mama. Fuck your lineage. Fuck everybody you ever met. I can't stand you. Your baby is ugly. Fuck them kids. Sorry, okay. Stop laughing at me.
Don't cut yet. You know, is this thing on? It's time for my...
We're fine. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back.
I have to clap. Hold on. I know. I'm like, you better. Okay.
And start dancing.
My neighbor.
Like, I don't think you're ready for. Sorry. Jelly.
I don't think you're ready for
me. Cause my body's too bootylicious for.
Okay, I have a confession, y'all. My weed just kicked in.
Your weed?
Yes!
Oh no.
Focus. First shot of the day.
We have more to do.
Oh, I'm fine. It's a sativa.
An edible?
A baby!
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Holy shit.
Final thoughts. I swear to God.
No.
You want me to.
You're recording scratch audio anyway, right?
Because I can.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Final thoughts! I wasn't going to be that aggressive. Take one.
Oh my god, my back. I'm not young enough to be doing this.
Wow, Travis, we just gave you a couple minutes of joy. You're welcome. Sorry, that was aggressive.
I thought you were gonna be with me. Ooh, Patrice, you're a bitch.
That's it.